What's up, y'all? We're back.
How y'all doing, man?
It's Pop Culture Shock Shoot. Call us whatever you want.
It's cool, man. As long as you're watching, you're entitled to call it whatever you want to.
I'm Jared, by the way.
Hi, Josh. Thank you for watching. Appreciate you.
Happy Mother's Day.
Mm-hmm.
It's coming to you. Recording this Sunday evening out by the old camper in this, what is essentially a sauna. So if I'm doing this, sorry.
It is a
Get over
warm. It is a warm one. I just cut my hair off, so if I do I've got my camouflage pants on. So if I start doing my Colonel Kurtz impersonation, I'm with you, man.
It's Georgia. It's hot. What do you want me to do about it?
It takes no time to get hot here, and it's cool. It's all good.
So that's what's up.
That is what's up, man.
Pretty much the biggest thing I've got to talk about that I've done recently is went to see Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2.
Awesome. This is the stupidest thing, and boy, this is setting the bar. I'm telling you, this is the dumbest thing I will say all day. I can't explain why it bothers me. Thank you for saying volume.
Yeah.
That's what it's called. It's cool, y'all, but I don't know why I get frustrated with like, Guardians of the Galaxy Part 2. I'm like, it's the stupidest thing to get upset over in the world. But I appreciate you saying it the right way. That sounded awesome.
You mean to tell me there's a comic book movie that people say wrong and people want to flip it over like, get it right?
Yeah, it's for a serious thing. I'm like, why am I the only person freaking out about this? We're all supposed to be neurotic in the exact same way.
Oh! Man, a little bit of backstory going into the first Guardians of the Galaxy. Everybody was waiting for that Marvel movie to tank, and I thought, well, this is the one. This is the one that nobody's going to care about. It's going to be awful, and rightfully so, because that's a group and a book that's kind of, well, it's been 1,000 different things, so how are you really going to make a 2-hour movie of this? And it ended up being one of the better ones they've done in a while.
I love Marvel Comics. Loved them my whole life. And I really like the movies they're doing, but I own 3 of them. That's it. I only own 3 of them. Guardians of the Galaxy is one of them.
Yeah.
Yeah, I watch it. Not forever, but I've seen it a ton. I like it. It's real good. The first 2 Avengers and that one are the only ones saying, yeah, I know Age of Ultron was bad, but I loved it, so I don't care.
I dug it.
I did too. Wanda's in it. That's all. Hey, you know anything about me? You know, if Wanda's in it, I'm in.
It's really hard for me to be critical of some of these movies. I don't know why. I just like them all. I want to like them all so bad that I'm like, well, I'll find something to like in it.
Yeah, but I do that too. Objectivity is not a strong suit of mine when it comes to comic movies. Comic movies, Pedro Almodovar, Woody Allen, I just like their stuff. I'm going to like something about it.
Yeah. So I think that's fair.
Yeah.
I think as good of a track record as they've had, that's pretty fair.
Yeah, totally. It's like, yeah, I'm like, you're good. You guys are totally gold.
And, at least the biggest thing that Marvel's put out that everybody's, glad to pan on is Iron Fist. And so we got that out of the way. And, this movie, it keeps up with everything that's been going on. It just hits all the notes that you wanted it to hit from the first one again. I just think some of the stuff they did was they turned the comedy up a little bit too much. It's not that there's 2 things. The comedy that they try to do, there's 2 scenes in particular that's going way too long, and it's not funny at all. You're like, okay, not only is this not funny, it's like, let's get up and leave.
Let me leave, not funny.
And the problem, one of the ones, it's like right from the get-go. There's a big baby Groot going to steal the movie from the first scene during, and you give it a pass because it's like going through all the credits introductions, but you're kind of like, y'all, this just plain isn't funny. Baby Groot running around while everybody else is fighting this big space thing. I want to see more of that. They finally get you there, but by the time they do, you're kind of like, all right, just, almost done with this. And then there's a scene later in the movie, I'm not worried about spoiling anything for you, but it is the scene where Groot is having to go get something for Rocket and Yondu. Is that Michael Rooker's character?
It sounds good to me.
Yondu are
Henry.
Locked up.
Space Henry.
Space Henry is back in solitary with Rocket, and he needs his prototype Finn so he can rule the roost and get out of this cage he's in. And they do the old joke of the only person we have that can go get it is Groot. He can slip through the cracks and get to where we need him to go, and he can bring it back. And they do the whole thing where comes back, it's the wrong thing, comes back, it's the wrong thing. And on the third one, if that's not your funny one to go out on, or the right thing finally, just find something funny. But it keeps going on and on and on. You're like, y'all, this isn't even funny. So that
rule of threes is a real thing. They didn't just
real.
make that up for 30 Rock. It's a real thing, man.
Man, it just one of those scenes where you kind of like, okay, it was cute twice. Now it's just like, this is just not even funny. So, but that being said, they gave Batista a lot more to do as Drax. That I think they expected him to carry more of the movie than he was able to. And I'm not calling it bad. I'm just saying that, like, yeah, this character isn't the leader of the team, and you're making him out to be like the leader. It's like, what are y'all doing?
And they're setting him up to die because like they did Hawkeye and Avengers 2. It's amazing. It's amazing.
I thought that from the first one.
It is amazing how many people you can say that to. Hawkeye's not gonna die. Did you not watch Age of Ultron again? Age of Ultron sucked. Well, watch it again if you think how Hawkeye's not dying. There's a reason you go at home with Hawkeye. And by the way,
they already teased it once. It's gonna happen.
If you're an old school Avengers fan like I am, I've loved Avengers my entire life. There is nothing in Avengers Disassembled that means anything other than Clint Barton dying. So even She-Hulk killing the Vision wasn't as bad as Hawkeye dies. Well, I felt it. That sucked. And Avengers Disassembled, the comic book, is not very good, but Avengers Finale is extraordinary. So read, that's just a one-off issue. It came right at the end of it. Dude, it's just a greatest hits thing. It's basically the next to last episode of Seinfeld for the Avengers. Great clip show. It's a clip show for the Avengers, and it's awesome. So read that. It's good. It's real good. I did not mean to throw you off your stride, man. I apologize.
No, man, there isn't much of one to be thrown off of. If you like these movies at all, by all means, go see it. You're gonna like it. There's plenty of good in it. I don't know where the rumor started about on the internet. There was some rumor where Galactus and Silver Surfer were going to be in it. I went kind of going excited for that. It ended up being a total lie. The rumor that I heard that was Sylvester Stallone was voicing Galactus and Silver Surfer was going to be with him. That's not what happens in the movie at all. Sylvester Stallone is in it, and he surprisingly has a pretty total unexpected role, but ends up being pretty pivotal, and then they're kind of building him up to be, because there'll be a part, Volume 3.
He's Howard the Duck. He's playing Howard the Duck, right?
Oh, yeah. They fired Seth Green. Now Sylvester's going to do it.
I like it. I haven't seen Guardians 2 yet. This is just a little glimpse into... it's just a personal thing. It's stupid, but I will say it. Why not? I am somebody that likes to wait and wait and wait and wait and wait and wait to go see these movies when nobody else is there. Mm-hmm. But here's the deal I've made with humanity to do that. Mm-hmm. The spoiler alert on the end. Dude, I have made the decision to wait. I don't care if I know every scene before I go see it. It does not bother me. I just think that's unreasonable. If you want to wait, like I do, to have the small crowd, you can't get mad at folks talking about the movie. That's stupid. So it's good to hear. I mean, it's good to get the man's take on it, because I really haven't heard both. Nobody's disliked it. I haven't thought anyone disliked it. Some people, it's better than the first one. La-di-da. And I'm like, I'll believe it when I see it. And I'm being a jerk about it. But basically, I saw Baby Groot once, and I'm like, nope, not going to like it as much as I like the first one. There's just no way, because as much crap.
The thing that makes sense about Baby Groot is, as fast as he grew in the first one, why is he still a baby?
Why is he still little? I didn't get that either. I'm like, okay, is this the next day? Is this the day after the Jackson 5 flower pot? What the heck, man? But as much crap as Captain America, yes, I'm a Cap fanboy. As much crap as Captain America took for asking Tony to watch his potty mouth. Oh man, it's so kiddie. Oh my God, it's just for the kids. It's the PG era. You okay with Baby Groot? Are you serious? The walking, talking plush, the Disney Store exclusive plush that is Baby Groot. We cool with that? Okay.
It's just not my character. I, mean,
Yeah, me neither.
I like Groot, but Baby Groot, I was like, when that was full on what the character was going to be in this movie, I was like, well, I'm already losing some interest.
Yeah, me too. Me too.
But going back to what Josh was saying a minute ago, I thought the whole and point of the first Guardians movie was to be Thanos shows up at the end and kills every one of them.
I was hoping they would, and I still hope they will, because you gotta put Thanos over sometime. Because the thing about putting Thanos over
in a
is
big bad way.
When he kills Steve, that's gonna help. When he kicks the crap out of the Hulk, that's gonna help. The problem is, I don't think they're gonna do the Hulk thing. Too many Hulk fans would, oh my God, people would jump off bridges. Oh, Hulk can't get beat up. Hulk's the strongest one there is. And they just will not have it. And it's like, well,
why'd they do that?
yeah, if you want to put the bad guy over, have him stomp the crap out of the Incredible Hulk. But, I mean, him killing Steve is going to be a big deal, but is it big enough? A lot of people got to die. Hawkeye's got to go. I'm sure Drax will go. I'm with you. I think most of the Guardians should go, which sounds really cruddy because they are good movies and they're really good stories. But again, I mean, you gotta put the guy over sometime.
And everything they've done so far is kind of like, well, what are we so scared about?
And that's my other thing is that's the one huge criticism. There's two. One, they're too kiddie. DC's so much more grown up and for adults, which I think is laughable, but we'll get there anyway.
No.
The problem is that the people that will tell you DC is for grown-ups are 14. Just hang in there. Keep watching. And the comic books now, old school fans that want to tell you DC comics are more adult thing, they're absolutely right. DC has always had more grown-up comics, but the movies ain't there. They're not there. The most grown-up comic movie they've done is Watchmen, and they changed the one major plot point that really made it grown up.
Yeah.
Because now it's just God's fault. You read Watchmen, it's us. You read Watchmen, it's sympathy for the devil. Who killed the Kennedys after all? It was you and me. That is literally what that book is. Is like, yeah, things are this crappy because of us. But when you make it Dr. Manhattan, it's like religion.
Yes.
It's God's fault.
Yes.
That's lazy, man. That's lazy. Anyhow, I've gotten way afield. But anyway, I'm glad you dug it.
One of the things that I think has been pretty, I don't know what the word is, you know, you just can't debate the fact how the impact that the first Guardians movie had. When you look at everything that's come since, even Marvel itself, I think it's ripping the Guardians off with the Ragnarok trailer.
I think you're right.
So if you like it, the stuff you liked from Guardians 1, you'll still like in this one. And I just think when you're talking about Thor showing up and killing everybody, hopefully the first that will go will be just to get rid of the Nebula character. He's like, and Gamora both. Just that constant bitching and moaning that character does. Like, I don't care about you.
For real.
You're here to die.
How is that going to get you over? How's anybody going to care when you die? All we care about is when you die. So hurry up and die. Oh, sorry. The second big complaint about the Marvel stuff is that the villains all suck. Ain't nobody ever made that complaint that was wrong. So there you go.
For me, I hate when people start with points that way. For me.
If we do it that way every time, it'll be great.
It's the Kardashian argument. Well, for me.
Yeah.
I think the best and biggest villains that have been so far. Number one, Baron Zemo, because he won.
Yeah, Zemo was cool. They did a good job with that.
And I think he's going to get better. Number two, it's got to be Yellow Jacket. Just for nothing else, violence against animals that's a big way to make you the bad guy.
It makes you the heel, definitely. My favorite of the Marvel villains so far, it's really crappy because it's not the villain, is Kingpin from Daredevil, but it's because Kingpin's best character in that show. So unfortunately, it's hard he's got the Magneto thing going on where it's the bad guy you read for because it's actually the lead.
Yeah.
So I kind of hate to say that. I haven't seen...
when the bad guy's right, it's kind of like, well,
yeah,
how am I supposed to really call him the best bad guy?
Kingpin's the best villain, but he ain't a villain. So I'm like, well, that's stupid. I shouldn't say that. But I haven't seen Ant-Man, so I've heard Yellow Jacket's great, and I think that's a good point, no doubt.
I think of what you've seen so far, it's I think Red Skull's gonna be back, and some of the Thor villains have just been kind of like, well, whatever.
Yeah.
And Ultron didn't do everything, but he was good.
I thought so too. I liked Ultron. I got
It
so
just
tired of hearing
wasn't
people.
up there where I think everybody else has been.
I got so tired of people belly aching about Ultron being snappy and he's a smarty aleck and talking all this. He's Tony Stark's son. It's the point you and I've made 1,000 times before. In the book, he is Henry Pym's creation, so he is neurotic and crazy and vile because Henry Pym is a disgusting character if you read that book. He's awful, just absolutely racked with self-doubt, and he marries the pretty girl, and for some reason that makes it worse. He is a terrible, loathsome character. So that's what Ultron is. Hateful, nasty, destructive, that's what he is. If Tony Stark makes you, you might quip a couple of times while you're fighting. That's the point. That's the point. For me, it might make sense for Tony Stark's kid to be talking a little crap. Because I just, like, wanting book Ultron with a different creator, it's the movie. Just don't try to make them the same thing. Because if you do, you'll kill yourself. And what makes me so frustrated about that, I guess it's just because Marvel's got more history and all that stuff. But people were completely willing to let Guillermo del Toro write his own Hellboy stories, and thank God they were, because they were awesome. So it's really neat that Guillermo took the character and then kind of wrote his own book, and people were totally cool with that, and I'm glad they were. I just wish we'd extend the same thing to Marvel. They did it with Christopher Nolan and Batman too, because anybody that thinks, well, all you hear now is that Batfleck is the greatest ever, but I haven't seen that movie, so I couldn't tell you. I have no interest in seeing that movie. I have no interest in seeing anything where Ben Affleck plays. I'm just not a DC guy, though.
Yeah.
There are DC books that I love. They're just not being turned into movies, and that's okay. It's all good.
We're just a few short weeks away from Wonder Woman finally coming out.
Yeah, I keep seeing the preview, and I'm like, it seems like I've been waiting a while.
That's another one where it's like going into it with such high hopes, but then it's the same old DC thing. When you see that trailer, you're like, oh, Jesus.
I'm a little nervous because I want Wonder Woman to be really, really good, real good. But, I'm pretty sure I've griped about it on here before. I know I've bent the man's ear about it before. It's the thing that I hated about Batman versus Superman. I haven't seen it. So, again, it's not that I hated the movie. I hated the name. I hated the marketing. First things first, by putting Batman first, Superman second, you tell everyone how the movie's going to go. Yeah. Then you have Wonder Woman as an unnamed cameo. You have destroyed your universe straight away. Because if you've marginalized Wonder Woman that much in your DC universe, you need to reset. You need to reset right now. Yeah. And it frustrates me, and it's not fair. It's not fair. But Gal Gadot is pure eye candy. I am hoping that she's going to get out there and kick some hiney and be really, really cool. And I'm not talking about beating people up. That's Wonder Woman. I'm talking about toting the character and making you believe and making you care. And I ain't saying she can't do it. I'm just saying I'm being really unfair because when I see her, it's like, well, I know why you got that job. And I hope I'm wrong. I genuinely do, because it ain't like Heath Ledger getting the Joker.
She was the best thing in Batman versus Superman.
That's positive. That's really good to hear.
Which it isn't saying much.
Yeah, but at least they had one something. At least they had a best.
I think going back to speaking of terrible trailers, it's like if you're gonna have a debut like that and not put it on the poster, then don't put it in the trailer.
Yep.
First of all, you shouldn't do it in the first place, but don't spoil it as early as they did.
Yeah.
That really, really crapped the bed for that movie.
I thought so too. I thought not calling it Trinity was a huge mistake. Because if you want to, if you're going to do it all in one shot, do the three of them. What about Aquaman? If you think Aquaman is on the same footing as Wonder Woman, read a comic, because they ain't. Oh, Aquaman, but it's Jason Momoa. I don't care. I don't care how many horse lords you get to play him. I don't care how many episodes of Game of Thrones he was in.
They've already shown that they're not doing the original Justice team, so forget your Aquaman love that you want him to get.
Who cares? Exactly.
And they're going to put in Cyborg, so don't give me that crap. What he deserves top billing. No,
you're wrong. No. Absolutely, the three of them. Three of them. You can't put Batman over Superman. You can't put either one of them over Wonder Woman. Trinity Dawn of Justice sounds cooler anyway. You can put a WW over the top of that little Batman Superman logo you had. It would have been amazing. And if you split the movie 3 ways instead of 2 ways, maybe people wouldn't have been so darn confused. But again, I ain't seen it, so maybe not. But I very much hope that Wonder Woman's cool. I hope it puts it on the right tread. I don't care about Justice League because I hate Ben Affleck. Genuinely hate him. So there you go.
You know, if It felt almost like they were kind of really rewriting and trying to piece this cluster of a movie together on the fly. When you could tell you really didn't know what you wanted to do with Wonder Woman, and you're going to decide to kill Superman,
Yep, in the
which
first one.
was something you kind of thought, well, maybe we'll keep that in our back pocket for down the road. Like, let's go ahead and do it now.
Sure.
And you rushed that story. You rushed Doomsday. You totally miscast Lex Luthor, and it's just mistake after mistake after mistake. The point I'm trying to make is go see Guardians of the Galaxy. It
Yeah.
makes it look a lot better when you talk about it.
When Man of Steel comes up right after it, it's the best movie ever made.
Oh man, Baby Groot's pretty awesome.
Yeah, for real, man. At least he was in mind when they wrote the script.
Star Lord slices his hand to bring Baby Groot back to life.
For real, man.
What?
Baby Groot says Martha.
And we got to talk about, the guy that's taken the place of Patrick Swayze on, all the love that everybody gives classic 80s actors since Patrick passed away. Kurt Russell was in it. And, I wondered how they were going to pull off a character like Ego, the Living Planet.
Yeah.
Because the picture I had in my head was that there's that one Green Lantern guy that's Mogo, the big planet. Are they going to try to do something like that? I mean, how is this going to work? And you saw the photos and spoilers that come out from when they do the action figures. You're kind of like, okay, well, that doesn't look like anything I've
That's
pictured.
not Living Planet.
But ends up being a really interesting take on the character. Almost kind of like a Galactus from Fantastics 2, which I still say was, I'm not going to call it great. I say it was good, but it's kind of a different way of like, well, how else are we going to do this character in a movie? And talk about, getting heel heat. He gets it too.
That's true, man.
So, go check it out. It's got me looking forward to Thor at the end of the year and everything else they've got coming. So that's going to be pretty fun to go see.
Being the Fantastic Four nerd that I am, the issue that John Byrne did about Ego, the Living Planet, is awesome because it's just this kind of throwback to the old Kree Skrull War and Avengers gets talked about a bunch, and it's cool. I'm really bad about my comics, like comic books and movies. If it's from the 70s or now, I'm good. Stuff before that, I'm kind of touch and go. Now, Stan and Jack's Fantastic Four is a lot of fun. It's fun. It's very, very cool. But other than that, I think with the Ego, the Living Planet thing, it was kind of like when you watch or when you read the I can't believe I forgot what it's called now, man. But it's the one where they have to go and Ant-Man has to shrink down and go inside the Vision. And basically it's like Fantastic Voyage, but a comic book version because they just draw these weird landscapes like the anatomy of an android. Yeah. It's kind of that same thing, but like with planetscapes and stuff like that. So I just love that issue. So when I heard they were doing Ego, I'm like, neat. That's cool they did it.
In Guardians Volume 2, one of the things that got me kind of excited is the Kree gets mentioned a few times. I think they got mentioned in the first Guardians, but they were mentioned. But I didn't think, well, they're probably going to be in the next scene.
Yeah.
It makes you feel that way in this one. Like, they could probably turn up pretty quick.
Well, I like it. They want to start talking Kree. That makes it a Captain Marvel preview, and I'm all about that one, buddy.
And there's it was one of those. At first, I thought Yondu was a Kree, but he was not. He was a Kree slave, is how he described himself. I was like, oh, okay, well, but still, they're mentioning them and they're bringing them up. I think that was just kind of like a tease. Like, that's going to happen, and it's kind of subtle and really quick. But if you're paying attention, you're kind of like, oh,
I like it.
That could be coming.
Well, I like because that was the first huge rumor that I heard as far as like Silver Surfer Galactus was that they cast Brie Larson so early because Captain Marvel's going to be in Guardians 2, and it's like that's a little early for that. I mean, she just got the job, but at least they're moving that way. And that also, we've talked about this before off camera, that feeds into our theory that the Guardians are there to be fodder because basically in Captain Marvel you have every Guardian of the Galaxy in one body because if if you know Carol Danvers and you know Captain Marvel, that is a nuke level character. That's why Hemsworth is going away too, because you don't need that's a very interesting character, because it's basically Thor's power and Hawkeye's attitude or personality. You cover a lot of ground with that character, so it's pretty cool.
So go check that out.
I will. Sorry I haven't seen it, so I can't discuss it with you, but I will. All I've done today, I set my entire day today to watch Game 1 of the Western Conference Finals, because I just to clear the air, because we discuss this all the time, man. I got to think it's LeBron. LeBron doesn't bother me a bit. I enjoy watching him play. I think that the internet and the Jordan worshiping masses that just crap on him openly are ridiculous, because you should be paying attention to this mess. That leads to the thing we'll talk about next.
Yep.
One of our longest standing conversations about, this goes back to when we were in high school, man, of like, pay attention to this. This is something worth noting, is, Jeter's statue went up. Jeter's number went up in Monument Park. And that's what we were talking about. When we were kids, we talked about how people can crap on Jeter if they want to. This is pretty special. Pay attention. You're going to be glad you saw this. We'll get to that more in a minute. LeBron's the same way. So this is not a slag on Cleveland or LeBron or anything like that. It's just that it's the Spurs and the Warriors. And I'm more excited about that than anything that will come out of whoever wins. And it was cool. I enjoyed it. I didn't watch it quite as closely as I wanted to, but it's just because I had other stuff to do. And it's like, all right, I wanted to come do the show also. So it's like, no, just turn the thing on and get your score. It's all good. So I turned it on, and it was pretty much at the point where San Antonio was just mugging them. It's absolutely. They were up 20 at the half. They were up 25 at one point, mugging them. So then I go and I start doing stuff around the house, and I come back, just keep my eye on it, and it's a little closer. It's down to 11, then it's down to 8, then it's down to 3. Then Golden State's up. So it's pretty impressive. We were talking about this, and I'll say it, and then I'll move along, because it's not that much of a subject. There's just two things that I learned from it, or not learned, but got reinforced. One reinforcement, one learned. Reinforcement is this. Everybody loves to talk about how soft Golden State is. They shoot those threes, and it's because Steph Curry he's a pretty looking guy. So nobody wants to. He's not tough and doesn't play defense. And you're right, he doesn't play defense worth a darn. But the Golden State Warriors sure do. That's why it works, because the other four guys out there are hustle busting, going crazy, man. They can make up for the life. It's like when Mario played for the Penguins, man. I love Mario. Mario didn't defend worth a darn. But he lifted two cups. Didn't have to, because he lifted two cups because of guys like Larry Murphy and guys like Ulf Samuelson. They took care of the business. No problem. Same thing. If you don't need Steph Curry to defend, he ain't got to, because he's not good at it. So it's just, that's the first thing, is that no one talks about the defense. No one talks about how good that team actually is. They are that good. It's the truth. Build your time machine, take whatever Jordan team you want, and bring them to 2016, and the Warriors would beat them by at least 20, and you know it. Because unless you're bringing Mike's referees with him, or you're going back to that era, under the rules right now, Golden State would kill anybody, and it's because that's the era that it's like Tom Brady. Tom Brady's going to score the next one time. You take Tom Brady back to 1955, see what happens. Yeah. But you bring 1955 to now, Brady never stopped scoring on them. Yeah. That's why you don't compare eras.
Yeah.
It's stupid. It's stupid to compare eras. Doesn't work that way. Jordan can beat anybody. I'm telling you, they wouldn't win right now. They wouldn't. Anyhow, and also, let's be blunt. If the league don't change the rules, Mike never beats Detroit. And that's a fact. Look it up. Everybody wants to go crazy about, well, it's so easy for LeBron, yeah, because the rules were different. Where you think that started? Where you think that started? Anyhow, I ain't trying to diss Mike. I just get a little bit tired of the worship. People talking about him like he's the only guy that was ever great at basketball. It's not true.
Yeah.
It's not true. But the thing is,
the right guy at the right time.
He was. We discuss that all the time. Phil Knight is Vince McMahon. Michael Jordan's Hulk Hogan. Depending on which one of those guys you think is more important, it just says it's awful good, because you can take either one you want to. But I'm telling you that Phil Knight made Michael Jordan. And all this whole, people trying to act like Jordan, oh man, he got cut from his high school basketball team. And then he went to Chapel Hill to play for Dean Smith. You're pretty good to do that. He played as a freshman for Dean Smith. Don't talk to me about no underdog. Don't talk to me about out of nowhere and how nobody believed in my Dean Smith, y'all. If you're a Jordan worshiper and you don't know what that means, you're not very devout. You need to re-up your faith.
Missed some early classes.
Yeah, seriously. So that's the first thing. Golden State's better than people think they are. The second thing is this. We were discussing this earlier. And again, this is going to sound like a shot at LeBron. It's not. Let me just point blank tell you, this is a shot at Russell Westbrook. As I'm so tired of hearing about how Westbrook's the MVP. Westbrook had the most outstanding season, and if you want to give him the award for that, that's cool, because MVP is totally different depending on who you ask. The numbers are amazing. Doing anything that gets you in the class of Oscar Robertson's a big deal. Mm-hmm. But Oscar also got a ring.
Yeah.
Russell Westbrook didn't have the first round. And the reason it's a big deal to me is if LeBron gets eliminated in the first round, if James Harden, who I think is overrated as crap, but if James Harden is eliminated in the first round, or in his case, even the second round, if Kevin Durant and the Warriors, for God's sake, or anybody not named Russell Westbrook goes out in the first round, they're a GOAT. Mm-hmm. Well, Westbrook took 35 shots. He was trying. That's awesome. Effort really, really counts. Except that unless it's Russell Westbrook, it don't. Because all I ever hear is criticism, man. James Harden laid an egg. San Antonio killed them in that series, in that final, the decider in that series. Mm-hmm. That's all good. But I'm tired of hearing about I'm tired of Russell Westbrook being let off the hook. Because it's stats for nothing. He's Ted Williams. Stats for nothing, man. It's great. Numbers look awesome. Flip the baseball card over, you're impressed for days. But when you actually apply them and try to see them turn into something that's meaningful, it's useless. Yeah. Completely useless. So here's my thing. If Kawhi Leonard is on the floor and San Antonio is gutting the Warriors in their own building, then he gets hurt, then you have the rally. Pretty sure you just found out who the most valuable player in the NBA is. LeBron's the best player on earth. Mm-hmm. Russell Westbrook had the best season. But seriously, Kawhi Leonard gets hurt and they were up 25, and then you get this comeback. Oh my. It says an awful lot about that kid, man.
I was the best player on my team.
It's weird. It's weird, man, because San Antonio's not supposed to have a guy like that. Tim Duncan was that guy, but so it's team and next man up, and it's great. It's one of the things I like about him. But Kawhi Leonard got an awful lot of pats on the back for a game he lost because he got hurt, and then there you go. I do hope he's back because it's going to make that series a lot more fun. They were talking about this. Did we discuss the Tom Brady juju? I don't think we did. Where people, the local sports talk guys, are talking about how I believe in karma. I'm not trying to put negativity out in the universe.
Well, yeah, Tom Brady's bad.
But I want Tom Brady to get hurt. Because if Tom Brady's not hurt, we're not going to beat him. And we gotta avenge the loss to the Patriots. Let me tell you something right now. As a citizen,
what, Atlanta, we're saying that?
Yeah, the guys on Sports Talk in Atlanta. Let me say this on behalf.
I hate Tom getting hurt.
Let me say this on behalf of anyone that has ever pulled for the Falcons once. If you're going to avenge a loss to the Patriots and Brady ain't out there, you think you're getting a hard time for blowing that lead in the Super Bowl. Mm-hmm. And it ain't even about playing them head-to-head. If Brady is in any game in the playoffs and Brady's not there and the Patriots go out, you will never hear the end of it. Ever. How anybody can forget the excuses, the belly aching, the hand wringing, the gnashing of teeth that accompanied the 10 years the Patriots didn't win nothing is beyond me. I remember it. Mm-hmm. It's the biggest crybaby fan base or not really the fan base. So people don't know. Well, the Seattle Seahawks didn't even have fans 60 years ago. Neither did the Patriots, except for about 14 people in New England who stuck with them when they got absolutely eviscerated by the 85 Bears. And good for y'all for sticking around. You deserve the good times. But they ain't the ones making this belly-aching garbage about time. They don't do that. You enjoy the good times. You let the bandwagoners complain when things don't go well. But that's my thing. If you're going to beat the Patriots, he better be out there or you're never getting credit for it anyway. And it won't matter. I don't care. Here's the thing. The New York Giants beat him twice. They still make excuses about that. So get out of here. Why would you want the best player out of there? That's stupid.
Even if Tom's out there and they end up beating him, well, you just beat an old man, Tom Brady.
Exactly. He's 40. Tom Brady's 40. Exactly. That's the point. Is no matter
you can't win regardless.
Exactly. You can't win no matter what. So why are you going to make it so easy for him? At least make him scurry. At least make him dig for some type of excuse. But if he's not out there, come on, man. The Super Bowl doesn't count. It's tainted. To the Super Bowl, and that happens all the time. When was the last time anybody won anything where other folks? I mean, credit where it's due does not exist in this country. We don't do it. And it's kind of pathetic, to be honest with you. Like, whatever, man.
Hey, man, it's especially coming off talking about the NBA, talking about stuff being bought and paid for. I mean, come on.
The NBA. It's an interesting thing, like philosophically, I think, if that might be the right word. They were griping about that about 3 years in a row. The Cavs and the Warriors. It's bad for the league. You gotta move it around. You gotta expand it. It's like the NFL. The NFL's always moving around. The Patriots, Tom Brady, the Patriots. They never do. No, they're great. The greatest team ever. No. But people talk about revenue sharing and moving the thing around. And I'm with you. Parity is a fantastic thing. if you're marketing to 50 states. The NBA is not marketing to 50 states. The NBA is marketing to new markets in the East. Those markets in the East, the NFL would die to get into, but no one gives a wet turd of a crap about the NFL outside of this country. It's a fact. It's a fact. Basketball, on the other hand, very popular in the East, doing pretty well in Europe too. And this is the strange thing about that, because this is the thing about soccer hear so huge here. When you hear people talk about soccer here, it's Man United, it's Chelsea, it's Arsenal. Tottenham's doing well now too. Think about when baseball first hit television and got huge. Now, when it got huge the first time, it was the 20s. There wasn't no TV, and that was great. But in the 50s, when you start televising this stuff, it's a big deal to have the New York Giants, the Brooklyn Dodgers, and the New York Yankees. It's easier, it's smaller, more people being brought in from the outside, concentrating right here. This is how you learn the game. This is the new stuff. When you are marketing to a new market, it actually benefits you to thin the herd. I don't care for it. I love domestically. It's way better to have parity and have everybody getting in there having a chance. But this ain't domestic no more. Basketball's global. It's the sad state of affairs in the NFL that nobody wants to talk about. CTE hurts you worse than you think it does. Yeah. And as far as globalization goes, it's America's game. America's game. It's the only sport that we play here that nobody else in the world gives a crap about. And that's great because the NFL's doing fine monetarily. But how do you do 3 generations from now? And that sounds ridiculous, but we're talking business. It moves forward. That's the NFL's big problem. Mama not letting their kids play no more and nobody else caring. But the NBA's doing great because the NBA could not care less what their domestic numbers are. So weirdly enough, it being LeBron versus the Warriors every year is actually good for them because in the heyday, basketball's heyday on television, don't give me that Michael Jordan crap because it's Magic versus Bird and everyone knows it. The TV numbers back me up on it. Because here's the thing. When Mike was doing Mike, they put him on NBC. Yep. You know who was running them when it was Magic and it was Bird? It was ABC, the big network, the big network. And that's the whole thing. And Jordan was also sprinkled all over cable. Wasn't no cable then. That was the prime time. And why? Because it was Larry and Magic every year. It's weird, but it works. It works. It totally does, man. It's stupid, but it's the reason that DC United ran MLS when they first started it. If you have the one super powerful team, everybody pays attention because the bandwagons are real. Y'all know that's right. I ain't even telling you that you don't know. Bandwagons are real. Ask a Patriots fan. They can tell you.
Tommy. For me.
Tom Brady's greatest quarterback of all time. And Brady's certainly in the running, but again, I'm on that era thing. Well, man, it was a Joe Montana guy, but you got to take Tom Brady. Do you? I don't think you do, because I'm going to tell you something right now. The way the rules are set up now to help quarterbacks, you really would take Tom over Joe? I wouldn't. I mean, that's cool if you dig Tommy. But if you're going to put Joe in that offense and have him pass 45 times a game, if you think he's not putting up similar or better numbers to Brady, you're crazy. Yeah. You're crazy. He'd be right there. He's the only guy I'd have right there with him. Yeah. But he'd be right there with him.
You know. So you talk about a guy like Joe, and he's just a system guy. You tell me Tom Brady isn't?
That's everybody's a system guy. System guy is the weakest criticism of anybody there's ever been. My favorite thing about that's the one favor that Tim Tebow did me as a football fan is that you never heard anyone say Tim Tebow was a system guy when clearly he was. To be fair to him, everybody is. It's just that was the stock insult for anybody you wanted to knock until he became ESPN's poster boy, and then you didn't hear it no more. You do again now. Well, Deshaun Watson's a system quarterback now means black. That's what it means now. It's like scrambler or dual threat. Deshaun Watson, he can pull the ball down and run it, but he doesn't. Deshaun Watson is a pocket passer. I don't care what color he is, y'all. It drives me nuts. You never hear black quarterbacks pocket pass. They never assess how well you throw the ball. It's infuriating. That drives me nuts. Well, good dual threat, great athlete. Those are all code words, and at least they're a nicer code word than thug, because that one drives me up the wall. I can't stand that mess. But it's still code, and it's like y'all are being ridiculous. And I do hope Deshaun Watson does great. It frustrates me to say so, being a tech guy, because last year, the Clemson game last year was amazing. Because it was one of the most poorly coached games I've ever seen, and they still thumped us. And they thumped us because the kids are that good. The coaches took a night off. I'm like, it's for me. I have always said that is the perfect example of why coaches should take at least 30% of their game checks, put it in a fund, and hand it to the kids after they graduate. Because Clemson, dude, you owe those kids, and that's great because the players win games for you. But it was just ridiculous. And they still beat the snot out of us because they were just that good. I'm like, man, we're getting this help and we can't do nothing with you. But also, I have this weird affinity for the Texans because it's neat to me that on the scale, like, and this was years ago, but there was a list of the top 10 most valuable franchises in all of sport. And the Houston Texans were like 10th. I thought that was so cool because you've got the global presence of the Dallas Cowboys, and Houston's Texans made the list. But good for y'all, man. So I hope they do well, and I like he's a really nice guy. So I hope he does great, and I hope he puts up Drew Brees numbers, and I hope he rushes for negative 117 yards because I'm tired of hearing that dual threat cray. He's a pocket guy, and I hope he does great.
Cool.
Sorry, I'm going to get fired up on Deshaun Watson. It's just frustrating. But I did think, I want Brady to get hurt. I think that's weak. Why would you want to do that? It's like saying that you want, it would be like Manny Pacquiao fans being happy that Pacquiao beat Floyd Mayweather with like his trunks around his ankles and one hand tied behind his back. And they would. It's pathetic to me that people get excited about that, but they would. They do it. It's like, oh man, that's weak. Super Bowl champs, Falcons.
Let's win.
I want to beat the best. I do. If you're going to be the best, I want to beat the best. I enjoy that, man. It's one of my frustrations with Tex out of conference scheduling. Like, man, let's put some meat on here. Just because they beat you, hey, that's cool. You played them. Go out there and you play them.
Heck yeah.
I babbled a bunch today. Sorry, man.
Nah, man, that's cool. It's one of those weekends where there wasn't much going on.
Yeah, just griping about old stuff, man. But I do hope Deshaun Watson and the Texans do well unless we come into contact with him. Because I want the Falcons to do well, obviously. But and I don't know pro ball like that. College ball, I know pretty well. But
I hate going into a season where we're getting picked to do really well.
Me too.
That never works out.
One of the late night guys, and I should remember this guy's name because I actually enjoy his show a lot. Because here's the thing. Sports talk, I get so defensive and ridiculous when people, it's mean, but it's true. When guys that washed out in the Northeast in the sports talk market talk college football, I can't handle it. Because you ain't going to tell me nothing. And that sounds cruddy, but it's true. But when it's basketball, I got a lot to learn about basketball. That's fun. I enjoy it. So even if I disagree, I'll listen. But it's one of the late night guys, probably 2 in the morning, and he's real good. I like him. I should remember his name. But he was doing the other day, he's like, guys, I'm telling you, you look at this ACC Coastal, Georgia Tech's dark horse. And I'm like, shut your mouth. The exact same, like, no, don't say that. The exact same reaction, man. I was like, don't say it. But yeah, I don't like being du jour. I don't like that being, I don't know why.
Radio out of the car.
Get out of here. Like, no. But yeah, it's like, the Falcons are going to have the best offense in football. No. I do hope they do well. One of my things I love, man, is I like people having to backslide on Vic Beasley. Because people just gave him so much hell when the Falcons drafted him. He's a buzz, Vic Beasley's a buzz. Because, he didn't have 97 sacks in his first 2 games as a pro, but he's doing pretty good now. So good for you, Vic.
Yeah.
I like it. He's just a system player. For real, Vic Beasley's a system quarterback. Everybody's a system quarterback.
Yeah.
For real, man. Tim Tebow is doing really well at AAA. System quarterback. AAA for the Mets. That was the other conversation. Was like, we didn't trade for Tim Tebow and bring him to Atlanta? I'm like, sure.
No.
Sure. But I will say this on behalf of Tim Tebow. Tim Tebow is hitting like 370 against AAA pitching. Michael Jordan never did that. Jordan never even made the bus trip to AAA. So good for you, Tim. I always give Tim so much crap. I want to give him some love when he deserves it.
He was up in Rome a few weeks back when they.
Let me take that back. Then that'd be AA pitching. Sorry, but
he may have gone up by now.
For Pete's sake, that would put him on the same scale as Jordan. Mm-hmm. So Jordan never did that.
Still didn't do that.
Yeah, for real. That's cool. That's cool.
I'm sure he's probably, if not called up, getting close to by now. The way the season's going.
I've been really like.
I can't even tell you what position he plays. I'm sure it's probably outfield, but
I think so. I'm not sure either because I don't know. And honestly, I don't know how the Mets are doing. As far as I know, the Nationals are just like so daunting to all of us. We're all just kind of doing this.
Whatever.
Man, by the way, did you see that Harper signed his arbitration year, so he's going to stay with Washington at least 2018?
I saw that today.
I'd have lost that bet. I would have lost that bet. I would have sworn to you he was out the door.
In New York.
In New York or Boston, one of the two. And I think I'm with you. I think he will go to New York. And I've said Boston for years because I'm an idiot. But
I think he's just doing it just because he's knows he's not ready to go.
I think so, and I thought about it too. I'm like, one of the things is if you stay that one extra year with Washington, and they're close. The Cubs are great, but Washington's close. So if
Yeah.
you can get that ring with Washington, and then do the the reverse LeBron, get your ring first, then go be a star.
Make you look a lot better.
Yeah, totally, and then go be a star somewhere else. But I'm with you. I thought Boston forever, and I'm like, I don't think he's gonna want to share that limelight.
No.
Boston's too much of a rock star bull crap stuff, man. But you go to the Yankees, they'd love him up there. And also, I mean, either one of those teams you go to, if you got left-handed power, you gonna hit well, so he'll be fine no matter where he goes. And also, that sounds cruddy. He's not propped up by a stadium. The kid, unfortunately, really is that good.
I think the problem with going to New York is, I mean, talking about the stadium is, man, I don't think they're going to be winning anything anytime soon. So why would you really want to go?
I agree. It's the same frustration I have with SunTrust, but I'm hoping that with SunTrust they'll realize in a couple of years, hey, you might want a free agent pitcher or two, because that's the thing about the New York Yankees. The last top line free agent pitcher they signed was CC Sabathia. That was the old stadium. You're not getting anybody in that new one. You're just not going to do it.
That's going to be a struggle, But it's happened before. Who knows?
Yeah, I was talking to someone about that. Well, the thing is, the fans like the home runs. We like World Series trophies better than that.
Yeah, I'd rather have that.
No kidding. I think I'm done. Sorry, y'all. I mean to get all gripey. Hope it was somewhat positive.
I was nervous going into the show. They'll just become like a self-indulgent blues jam, talk about old girlfriends and stuff, and on Mother's Day, no less.
That's right.
So, anyway, we'll see you guys next time.
Have a good one, y'all.
Bye.